Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to dive into something I'm super passionate about. What I look for in a raw puer tea. I've been sipping my way through a bunch of cakes lately, and I've got some thoughts about what makes a raw puer really stand out to me. First off, I'm a huge fan of puer teas, which have been stored in Taiwan for about 20 years. That's kind of a sweet spot because it's still relatively affordable, and that Taiwan storage accelerates and accentuates the rich, deep texture. Like this 2004 Xia Guan FT 8653 3+1. Now the texture of this tea, the way that it reminds me of the earth and the way that it tastes, the tastes and the aroma bring back so many memories of Taiwan and just the natural environment of the jungle almost in Taiwan, the mountains, natural rivers. Where we used to go in Kaohsiung County, there was a nature reserve with hot springs. This totally takes me back to that time and that memory. It's an amazing tea right here. This is one. There's something specifically about the Taiwan climate that is ideal for storing tea. Now, it's not just the humidity, it's not just the heat. It's also what the content of the air is, like the microorganisms in the air or whatever is in the air. Just like in Eugene, Oregon, here, we have air content that has a lot of pollen in it, for better or worse, mostly for worse. But there's a huge difference between what's in the air here and what's in the air in New Mexico, or what's in the air in Southern California, or what's in the air in Florida, or what's in the air in New York. You understand, I mean, you get off the airplane right away, when that feeling of that air hits you, you know, you're in a different air. Now, what's in the air also influences what goes on in these teas. You know, raw puer or puer, there's no oxygen barrier. It's just wrapped in paper. And I often refer to this category of the blue cheese of tea. That is because there is an otherness. There is something else growing in this tea. Now, when these teas are brand new, really young, right out of being pressed, like say, if we were to buy some 2024, 2025 raw puer, the astringency would be incredibly intense. There would be a bitterness, and there would be almost like a very intense green that is enjoyable to some people, but for me, it's too much. And so what storage does and what time does is it sits in an environment like Taiwan is it mellows out that flavor and it makes it more earthy, and the color changes too. It goes from green to red to kind of rust and amber to eventually as black as coffee after about 30 years or so, 25 years in some cases, depending on how it was stored. You know, 20 years, like I said, it's kind of a sweet spot. But it doesn't have to be 20-year-old tea to be really good tea in sense of like I would really like drinking it. Like for example, there's some 2013, but actually that has some 2003 leaf mixed in with it. But for example, like this is a 2013 that is incredibly enjoyable. It's a dye factory, which means there are several different producers that create different recipes, and the recipe is a mixture or a blend of different leaf that goes into these cakes. What I look for in a raw puer. With this tea, if you look at these two teas, the first one I was talking about and this one, these are two different companies. This is Dai, this is Xia Guan. I've been dabbling in both of these for a while, trying to understand what the heck's going on. What I've come to my conclusion is this: these companies are what they're going for is totally different. Xia Guan teas tend to be more intense, more like that flavor I was talking about, like that scotch, you know. Man, it had leather, it had tobacco, it had smoke, it had pine, it was the type of tea you drink, it makes it feel like you're gonna grow hair on your chest, you know. And honestly, that's a lot of the appeal. These Dai teas, these tend to be a little brighter. On the one end, you've got stuff that's leathery, it's got a subtle smoky edge, and it's earthy. in the best possible way. And when I drink it, it feels like it's putting some hair on my chest. It's bold, it's rugged, it's unapologetic. So Xia Guan, this company, has a bit of a punch to it. But I don't just stick to one profile. Take the Dai Year of the Snake 2013. It's a completely different beast. I'm a little obsessed. The aroma alone is wild. Think pine trees after a rain. Fresh cut grass, a hint of cooked spinach, sticky tree sap, maple syrup, and a little pop of orange peel. Then you taste it. And it's like a flavor roller coaster. Oranges, pine, crisp green apples, and a touch of asparagus. Sweet mango sauce, smoky pears, and even some tart raspberries sneaking in there. The aftertaste? It lingers forever. Smooth and balanced, not too sour or bitter. It's got a cool minty finish that keeps me coming back for more. Some other gems I've been getting into are stuff from the Chen Yuan Hao or the San He Tang, this wedding character. These are all Chen Yuan Hao here. I've just started to learn about Chen Cheng Hao, trying to get my hands on some more of this. Different pressings from this producer here. All of these producers source really great material. And that's key. The right leaves stored the right way. As I said, Taiwan storage is my go-to because it just brings out this perfect harmony of aged but lively, complex but approachable. I hope that makes sense. That's what I'm chasing in raw puer right now. Whether it's the rugged intensity of the Xia Guan Iron Cakes or the bright evolving layers of Dai, I'm really all about teas that tell a story. So what about you? What do you look for in your puer? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what's in your teapot. So anyway, this amount of tea right here, 31 different raw puers, it would take me 6 years to drink all of this tea. Man, it had leather, it had tobacco, it had smoke, it had pine, it was the type of tea you drink, it makes it feel like you're gonna grow hair on your chest, you know? And honestly, that's a lot of the appeal for me. Not actually having hair on my chest, that doesn't matter to me. But just that flavor that's like, oh yeah, that's some rich, hearty, you know, kind of like, there is a big crossover between Scotch drinkers, people that like Scotch, and people that like puer. Now, again, that's a subject that I'm not super familiar with, but that's just something I've noticed here in the tea house, is that people that really like these teas often are people that appreciate Scotch. Come on, come on, check in. Jiao, come here. Come on, come on, I got you. Right here.
Did you really?